You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
You're now listening to Sports Coma's Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Welcome aboard, everybody, on this special podcast. It is our trade special podcast, of course. We're going to be covering the new trade the Pelicans just rolled out and other rumors, trade issues, rumors building up to the February, I think it's the February the 8th deadline on the trade deadline. So we'll be covering that today's podcast. 144 on our trade special. Thursday, February the 1st, 2018. So like always, thank you for joining us today on the Pelican post-game report trade special. That is a round of applause for you for joining us and your support. I'm Big Q hosting, and the co-host tonight with me in-house is DC. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm good, man. Ready to talk about this special delivery we got.
A special delivery, huh?
Yeah, that deep dish pizza coming on down from Chicago.
Foreign deep dish pizza. Pelicans made a move, if you hadn't already heard yet, people. They've made a trade, a much-needed trade, to try to add some scoring oomph to this team, and they're currently on a 2-game slide, looking very bad. So Dale Demps got on the phone. Of course, he's known as Dealer Dale, and got to dealing. And boy, was he! I guarantee he was in his office burning up the lines trying to get this deal done. Of course, it fell apart a couple of days ago because the Pelicans didn't want to pick up the $2.5 million. I think, what is it? The exercise, the option on his $2.5 million deal. Of course, he had the power to belay the trade. If they didn't pick it up, he did kill the trade. And then the Pelicans say, you know what? After going talk to the real money people, we're going to have to pick up this here deal and make it happen. And they got Mr. Nikola Mirotic, who comes over from the Chicago Bulls. But in the trade, the Pelicans sent Omer Asik's horrible contract.
Woo!
His horrible garbage time contract that Dale Demps signed a few years ago. Remember Dale Demps, and we're going to get into this. Demps sent a first-round draft pick to Houston to get Omer Asik, and then a few years later end up trading him with a first-round draft pick. Wow. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that because we're not going to let you off the hook for that.
First-round draft picks, huh?
He's worth two first-round draft picks, obviously, because we're not going to do nothing with him. But Mirotic comes in, and all it cost us was a 2018 first-round draft pick, Omer Asik's horrible contract. They threw in Jameer Nelson and Tony Allen to the deal. And for the deal to work for Chicago, all the thing they had to do was cut one person who the Pelicans sent to Chicago last year, Quincy Pondexter, for a second-round draft pick. Who the Pelicans just can't stop messing over Quincy Pondexter.
Man.
He sent him to Chicago. He finally got healthy and started playing a little bit.
Quincy started talking about their medical staff, and he's like, we're going to fix you. And
the next day, you know,
I ain't got no job.
They had cut Quincy Pondexter, Chicago did, that is, to make the trade go on. So we're going to talk about that today on today's show. We also have a few other things we're going to break down on the rundown of today's show. We're going to talk about Mirotic's contribution. What could he bring to the Pelicans, as if you didn't know. Also, we're going to cover other rumors that's circulating. More moves on the way. Could be. There are rumors involving Greg Monroe, the center/power forward, who was just recently bought out by the Phoenix Suns. He's now a free agent, unrestricted free agent. We're going to consider and talk about Greg Monroe. Is it a possibility? Tyreke Evans rumors. That's right. You heard it right. Tyreke Evans, former Pelican. Tyreke Evans once again is involved in something dealing with New Orleans. I don't make it up. I just talk about it.
We got a revolving door run.
Pretty much. And then we're going to talk about, since the Mirotic move, who will be sincerely affected by Mirotic coming in. Perhaps Solomon Hill. Mirotic makes 12.5 or whatever it is, that option. What does that mean to Solomon Hill? Will he be a long stay on this team?
I mean, you can't. How you going to cut him? Solomon Hill is old.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Probably upward of $20 million.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take Solomon Hill when he gets healthy and trade our 2019 first-round draft pick. And we'll get somebody else. That seems to be the method. And also thoughts about the trade, dealing around that, and what, in seeing that we lost some of the depth. Jameer Nelson is now gone. Tony Allen is now gone. Does it open up the door for Mike James, finally, who played last game and made 2 points? Finally, Elvin Gentry finally played the damn man. DeAndre Liggins' time is starting to increase. Does that mean some of these young pieces are getting an opportunity to kind of show what they can do, so to speak? So that's the rundown on today's show. Podcast 144, DC. Let's get right on into it. Like we said before, the deal involving since we get Mirotic, that's all we get with Mirotic. They give up Jameer Nelson, Omer Asik, and Tony Allen. Of course, Tony Allen, they said they was going to release him. Chicago, they're going to keep Jameer Nelson, and they hold that horrible contract. And in the first-round draft pick, of course, the Pelicans give up, which is my thoughts. What are your thoughts on this trade? What do you think about this trade?
Oh, bearing the circumstances, for Dell Demps and Alvin Gentry, this is a phenomenal trade because this will probably save their jobs. Long term, I'm not so sure how to feel about it because you know how we talked last time when DeMarcus Cousins went down. I missed the last two shows, but my take was to try and maximize your future. I don't see how this trade does that by giving away a protected first round draft pick, the number 10 pick, I believe. So you get that away, and which is a deep draft, and you get a guy that you have basically for 2 years. Let's say he don't. I mean, we not the Lakers, like we not Boston. We ain't no premier team. Let's say this guy don't even want to stay with us, and he decides to leave, even though we want him, or somebody offers him a ton of money. Then we look back on this, and what did we get? We basically got from up under Mirocic's contract after we sat on it for 3 years. Why we ain't been make a trade like this?
Well, according to what ESPN is breaking down, they released some information on the parameters of the deal, and according to what they're reporting, $12.5 million of Nikola Mirotic's contract now has New Orleans, the Pelicans, at a $1.6 million below the luxury tax, below, not above, and $2.2 million below the hard cap. So the Pelicans are in good shape as far as the cap is concerned. They also, after this deal, they have room to sign 2 more players to prorated medium exceptions, which is, we'll get into the Greg Monroe particular signing, and perhaps another player signing. Also, some more information about it is New Orleans creates a $1.5 million and a $1.4 million trade exception with the trade. The Pelicans also have a $3.5 million and a $2.1 million trade exception and the $2.5 million disabled player exception. So they still got a few exceptions that they can use to their benefit because of all of the injuries and all of the foolishness that's been happening with the team. So a lot of stuff in that.
Like we need to take some of that money and spend it on a new medical staff, huh?
Well, man, we got the whole hospital staff. Oshner is the medical team that take care of Pells.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about all these other people. You know, like the guy that came over from the Saints after he messed up Delvin Bro's foot.
Yes. And
he just came on over here to the Pelicans and act like nothing had happened. Yeah, and then we got a guy like Alexis Jinka who's been, I don't remember the last time. I don't even know how his jump shot looked no more.
Right knee injury.
This man been hurt the whole time he been signed to us. About 2 years.
And then they reevaluated him. He needed more time, of course, and then there's Solomon Hill, left hamstring tear. Then Frank Jackson finally is getting ready to become healthy off that right foot fracture. He's finally coming back.
We finally gonna see what our rookie. I guess that's why we traded our draft pick away, because we ain't like we do nothing with him anyway.
Well, that's a part that's absolutely got some truth to it. Now, Frank
I don't know
Jackson
who we
probably
drafted
up in
after
the G League,
Andy Davis and Darius Miller. I pretty much don't know who we drafted after them.
They don't care about draft picks around here, buddy. No doubt about it. If you package it like what you is, but you saying I give my take on it, DC. I think pretty much this is something that they need to do with Mirotic. You know, they absolutely need the punch. They need that. I don't agree with the team as far as them sending a first-round draft pick, but there was no way no one would take the assets that New Orleans has. They're just ugly assets for nothing. Now, Mirotic on the year, right now, he averages about almost 6.8, which is about 17 points a game, 6.5 rebounds a game. Right now on his career, he averages about 11.4, so he's having a pretty good season for the Bulls before he had that situation where Bobby Portis basically broke his face when he fell out.
I wonder why that happened.
They got into it. They got a little too chippy, and Bobby Portis went to his car and got a sledgehammer and must have hit him with it because
it was called his fist. Huh?
But anyway, he's been with the Bulls for the past 4 seasons, and his numbers have increased except for that third year when he suffered some injuries. Played on his numbers dropped actually by a point or so, but this year he was actually coming out playing pretty good. He's 6'10". He's 260 pounds. A lot of people think that he can play the small forward position, but Mirotic has the ability.
He played the small forward position.
He did play the small forward.
He looked like Ryan Anderson out there. You know, big old, tall, linky, slow, small forward.
We didn't think Mirotic.
He shoot your eyes out, man. And he's a sneaky good facilitator too.
Right, he's about 36% shooting from the 3-point line, according to his statistics, his career statistics. That is about 36% shooting from 3. Well, anyway, the Pelicans get this guy. They bring him in. Looking at the next group of questions dealing with it, what kind of contributions could we use? Could be what kind of contribution could Mirotic bring to this team? Where would his natural position be? Will you still keep Anthony Davis at 4, at the 5, and move Mirotic at the 4? I mean, what would a starting lineup look with Mirotic in it to you?
Well, that's pretty much a crapshoot when you're talking about Alvin Gentry, so I'm not gonna try to think with his brain.
Small ball, baby.
Yeah, well, like I told you, Alvin Gentry gonna put AD at the 5, and Mirotic's gonna be at the 4.
Mm-hmm.
We got Etwan Moore up there. You know,
smallish Etwan Moore at the small forward position.
Drew Holiday and Rondo. That's gonna be starting on. But if I, let's say, was running the team, I would sign Greg Monroe. I mean, he can't command a lot of money. He just got his contract brought out. I would sign him, let him be our starting center, put AD back at power forward, have Mirotic from time to time play small forward or come in at power forward, his natural position, and run the lineup the way that it's been, minus Etwan Moore. Have him come off the bench. I'll possibly start some games if we're going to run a small ball lineup. So I would definitely hope it would make it more flexible so we can run different matchups and different lineups pertaining to who we're playing. That would be the smart thing to do. But I think Alvin Gentry is pretty much going to start him and have AD at the 5.
I agree with you. I think until they figure out what to do with Mirotic, I think Mirotic will probably come off. I think he'll come off the bench. You know, until they figure out what to do with him. You know, because
asset. You think they're going to?
I mean, at first, until he learns something. I mean, me personally, I like to look like you saying AD at 5, even though Anthony Davis does not like to play the 5 position.
I think it's a good lineup to run against certain teams. If we're
right.
playing like Sacramento,
but you don't
saw how Zach Randolph
but you don't have
was.
an establishment center anymore. When you got rid of Mirotic, that's all you have.
That's
you
why
don't have
we need to sign
else.
Greg Monroe. You need him to be a body at least if he can't be nothing else. I think he still has the potential to produce offensively and decently defensively. We know he's not the best defender, but he's a real good rebounder, and he can get you some points offensively. So you get a guy like that to be a body, because we don't want AD taking all that punishment, man. We're going to have him down and out just like DeMarcus Cousins. That would be foolish. So if they continue to run AD at the 5, put Mirotic at the 4, and we don't sign a guy that we can have a body to at least switch it around, or at least have a guy like we had in Ashik that could just take some punishment when you play a team like Sacramento with a real physical big guy, then, I mean, we're fooling ourselves, man, and all this will be for nothing. because at the end of the season, AD's probably gonna be all beat up.
I look at it the fact that, you know, the whole Mirotic debacle, that's what I call it. First of all, this is a little storyline on it before we go to break here, and we got about a minute before we go into our first break. But before we go to break, let me chime this out to you guys. They traded for Mirotic July the 15th, 2014. They traded with Houston as a part of a 3-team trade. They sent Melvin Ely to Washington. Houston then traded Amir Cosby and a $1.5 million to New Orleans. New Orleans traded Trevor Ariza, Alonzo G, a 2015 first-round pick, and Scotty Hobson to Houston to acquire Mirotic. That was on July the 5th, 2014. It is February the 1st, 2018. The trade went down and involved the first-round pick again. That's 2 picks for Mirotic. I didn't know he was that valuable. We're going to talk about that foolishness on the other side of the break, among other issues and rumors with trades, and how does this impact other players. You listen to the Pelican post-game report trade show. Come on back, holla at it.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelican.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE, style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
That's right. Welcome back to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. We off air talking about the ridiculousness of some of the trades that the GM dealer Dale Demps, Mr. Lionel Jefferson himself, has been. I haven't called him that in a while. Mr. Lionel Jefferson, the second Lionel Jefferson. Just get a picture of him and Lionel Jefferson, and the second one, put it together, you see what I'm talking about. The kind of trades that he pull off, just in particular, this trade dealing with Mirotic, almost 4 years since they traded a first-round draft pick, cash, and other players, Trevor Ariza, to Houston to acquire the services of Mirotic, only to ship him back to where he earned his money in Chicago. What a first-round draft pick. And we
probably was Clint Capella probably was that draft pick. And they still got Trevor Ariza over there giving them quality minutes.
I don't know what that draft pick was. We got to do some research on that for a feature show to know who that pick was. But I'm pretty sure they just upset us. Anyway, going forward into the show, Mirotic's deal, I mean, of course, he makes $11.2 million a year. That's amazing to me. Almost 11 million. It says 10.5, but it's about 11 something million, almost 11 million a year. If you average all his years together, it's 11.5 for the 5-year, 60 something million dollar deal that he signed originally back in 2015-2016 season.
Public service announcement going out to all the free agents for the NBA. We love to give away money. Come stand in line and get you a check.
Man, wow! But
why we can't draw no free agents, man? We give away money freely.
I just don't agree with the method.
Just throw it away. We just throw it down the drain.
I just don't agree with the method. I'm not, Mirotic. The only way we were going to get rid of that, and this is just proof positive that this was a major mistake. You shipping him out with draft picks. Now, if this doesn't work, and I'm not going to be gloomy Gus here, but if this situation, all these trades and moves that they're trying to piecemeal together, doesn't work, and a team fails or flusters, then when they fire Dale Demps, if they don't make the playoffs, they would definitely remove Al Gentry. The next general manager that comes behind him will have absolutely nothing to work with because he's going to be capped. He's going to be strapped with all these massive contracts. And then next year, the Pelicans are definitely going to go over they're going to be they're already one of the top 6 or 7 teams as far as salary goes right now. I mean, it's just astronomical, the amount of numbers, the money that they're paying for these guys.
That's them Luminomics, baby.
But this is the funny part about it, though. If you look at what the teams like San Antonio or the best thing I could say about OKC, who they're playing against coming up on Friday. OKC built their team before Russell Westbrook left. Of course, they got Paul George there and Carmelo Anthony there now. But prior to that, they were the guys that built the team through the draft with guys like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
Couldn't keep none of them.
Except
Russ.
Well, they made a mistake on the James Harden thing. They made a mistake. They had Sergio Ibaka there, Stephen Hunter, Reggie was the guy from Detroit. What's his name? Reggie Jackson.
They had Reggie Jackson.
So they had Reggie Jackson. Jeremy Lamb was another guy they drafted. The little point guard that they traded to Chicago, who backs up Chris Dunn. He's hurt right now. I can't think of his name. But anyway, they have an excellent.
Talking about Grant?
No, it's another little guy. But they got an excellent way of picking young talent to bring it to your team. Drafting guys, being smart with your draft picks, drafting and building your team to the draft, as opposed to doing the Dale Demps method, which is to overpay for veterans.
Cantor too. I forgot about him.
Oh, that's right. Also had Enes Kanter that they drafted.
Balling out in New York.
It goes over and over and over and over and over and over. You know, they just pick. They know how to get the right people in place, and it's not hard. Only thing you have to do is go hire their guy, the second guy underneath the guy that's making the moves, and bring him down here and have him to help you in your scouting department.
Oh no, y'all not doing any of this.
But it's right. You're not developing in talent, and you don't hit on the number one unless he falls into your lap. Via Chris Paul, via Anthony Davis. Even when they did they had 2 picks in the initial year when Anthony Davis came out. They had 2 first-round draft picks, 1 overall in the second pick. They drafted Anthony Davis. Then later on, they got Austin Rivers. They gave up on Austin Rivers way too early, in my estimation. But that's just what they do, you know. So, with that said, let's move forward. Just let that be on the record that this was a major disaster. This whole Mirotic thing. The next major contractual disaster that's on the books is Solomon Hill, and we'll get into that later on in the show. But DC, let's move into the other rumors circulating around the Pelicans. Greg Monroe. There's a rumors circulating about Greg Monroe. Of course, we know he was bought out of his contract by Phoenix. After being traded from Milwaukee to Phoenix, then he didn't have a place there. He agreed to a buyout. It's been talk for the last 2 or 3 years that they've been trying to whispers of Greg Monroe finally coming home and playing for his hometown Pelicans. And it has not got. I must say that the situations are lining up right now where Greg Monroe could make that a reality. They have a few other teams that's out there, like Boston, that definitely has more money to throw at him, but not in a starting capacity. The Pelicans actually could say, listen, we can bring you in here, just give us accept our deal, come play for us. You can be starting in front of your hometown team. That's very interesting. According to some sources, it says that that's a significant that the Pelicans have gained significant momentum in pursuit of Monroe, who has a interest in playing for this team because of its location to being in his hometown,
right?
And the fact they got a massive hole at the center position. What do you think about this rumor?
I think it's a perfect fit, man, and I think the rumor is definitely true. I mean, you've been hearing it for so long with that old saying, "Where there's smoke, there's fire," and all that. Right. You've been hearing this rumor for, like you said, about 3 or 4 years. Greg Monroe is from the West Bank. Went to high school in Helen Cox. He was a phenom in the city. Everybody would welcome him with open arms. They know his situation for his career. How he had a good little stretch and he's kind of on a downturn.
Hadn't found the right team. He was with Detroit for that while. He played with Drummond and all that. Hadn't found the right system. He was looking pretty good in Detroit. Then they moved around, but he might actually work.
I think he'll look real good here, and he'll have support. And I think that's all that guy needs. He just needs some support. I think his confidence has been broken through what he's been through in his career. He's fairly healthy. He's not injured, and that's saying a lot for a big guy. I think he could come in and be more than just a body, but even if he was at least just a body, it still improves our team tremendously because we just need another big man that desperately. So I love to see Greg Monroe here, man, and I think if he came here, he'd go visit his Helen Cox and remember a lot of that stuff. You're around your old coach, your family, and different stuff like that, man. Anybody plays better in that type of atmosphere.
I think you're absolutely right, man. I think it'll be a nice move. And looking at some stuff on Greg Monroe, he started 401 of his 457 NBA games. His playing time greatly went down. He's after averaging 22 points in 22 minutes over the past 2 seasons. As a free agent approaches, he's 27 years old. He has played a lot of meaningful games, but he's not a worn out veteran. As a starter, he has pretty decent minutes. DC averaged 14 and a half, 9 rebounds a game per game over those 6 seasons. That's not bad. As a starter, those are starter numbers now. And
pretty good.
That is pretty good. Now, of course, they have 2 open spots after the Mirotic deal to add Greg Monroe. Of course, the only question is of money. Will he take a significant reduction to play for us, or will he chase the money with Boston? Now, not just the money, but Boston is clearly a better team, more established team. They might say, look, even though we got Baines playing at center, we can definitely use you next to Al Horford. And then you have Al Horford. I mean, it's attractive nonetheless, because I'm pretty sure it looks good to play for your hometown team, but Boston, you have an opportunity to really compete. The Pelicans are kind of struggling around. They're gonna have to basically do everything we was doing, learning how to play together. Finally, before they went that 7 to 8 winning games, the winning 7 of 8, going that 4-game winning streak. Guess what?
We got to build chemistry
all over again.
Yeah.
So, and then the problem
That's been the story of our team, though.
All over again.
The whole Dell Demps Gentry era.
Well, it's imploded. I mean, with DeMarcus Cousins, that's a massive hole right there. And then when he went down, that severely showed you how the stars, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, has been carrying this team bench-wise because they are too guard heavy.
Drew Holiday, too.
Way too many guards and not enough bigs. And it was proof positive. We talked about with Zach Randolph, when Zach Randolph, like David Wesley said on the telecast, that it was a bull in a china shop. He was knocking guys around all kind of ways, and they couldn't stop him. That should have showed them, hey, man, we need to find some guys with some girth down there that can do some bullet ball, that can go and snatch up rebounds and stuff like that. Remember, that team had 20 plus second chance shots on us.
Zach Randolph said in his neighborhood, they bully the bullies. So he ain't the type of guy.
And obviously, his neighborhood,
it's pretty rough.
Right, it's pretty bad, and he brought it right to the Pelicans floor.
I think Greg Monroe is pretty much a lot to come here. Boston, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think if he does go to Boston, I don't think he get a lot of minutes. I don't think that's what he's looking for. I think he's looking for a situation where he can get some time and prove his work and get back to the caliber player that he was. And I don't see him being able to do that in Boston. I know that might be telling him this or that. He knows that he goes over there, he's pretty much going to be the third guy. Coming here, he could probably be a starter. And you can at least show with your work to be able to make some money on the free agent market at the end of the year.
This is true. This is very true, and like I said, it can go either way here. But if the Pelicans,
he could love it and stay and sign for not much, big contract.
Let's look at. Let's say, for instance, just to say that he opts to go to Boston. What are options behind Greg Monroe if he says, you know what, I'll see you guys in the free agency period. For right now, let me go and chase this ring with Boston. And says no. What are your options? Let's help out Deal or Dale and give him some options behind Greg Monroe. I, for one, say Terrence Jones. a guy that's familiar with your system, a guy that can score. Of course, he's not a center, but he could be one of those other players, one of the two spots you can bring in. Definitely gives you a big that can score off the bench. And you can bring him in and move him in certain packages. Of course, I still say the Pelicans need to find a center, too, outside if they can't land Greg Monroe. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I like Terrence, man, but with them just getting Mirotic, I don't see it. Like, we got 3 guys. I mean, that means you got to get rid of Sheik Diallo. Do something with him.
Sheik Diallo, they already got rid of Sheik Diallo. They just don't know it. He just sits on the bench and wears the shirt. You know what? I guarantee you.
But he's still on the books, man.
I guarantee you, after the game, you know what Elvin Gentry do? After everybody is left and it's just Sheik Diallo and Elvin Gentry in the locker room, he said, "Come on to my office." He goes into his office and say, "Here you go, you're from. Go out there and finish sweeping up the court while everybody comes."
Man,
so he can earn his paycheck.
That's messed up, bro. But
I'm saying I like Sheik Diallo.
I like Sheik Diallo too.
I mean, he ain't doing nothing because the man won't play him.
You're gonna be stacked at one position, man. We desperately need a center. Terrence Jones can't do that. I like Terrence Jones as a player. I would like to sign him.
All right, but give me,
I just don't see us doing that without getting a center.
Okay, give me one center quickly who you think that'll be available that can fit that billing if Greg Monroe, the Moose as they call him, chooses to go to Boston.
You out of luck. Ain't none.
There's Lopez.
You just signed somebody that's a body.
There's the Lakers frustrated Lopez that said that he's on that. How
about
Julius Randle?
He's got a lot of money.
Julius Randle.
We can't make the Julius Randle trade with them people. What are we gonna give them?
Sheik Diallo.
We had to get Julius Randle.
Sheik Diallo
for Julius Randle.
Yes.
Man, them people be out their mind if they sign that deal. We just gave away our first round draft pick. That would have been a way to get.
We ain't give away all of them. We still got the 2019 draft pick. Obviously, this is satire, people. But this is the kind of foolishness that when you have. Let me tell you something. When you have bad contracts like that, and you have these, I mean, that's absolutely a horrible contract for Mirotic. You have this guy.
I ain't never. Why don't you mention Solomon Hill?
You know what?
Bruh.
Solomon's on the docket. He's next up to get the gavel. Because Solomon Hill is a guy, and we're going to get to that next topic next.
Make Alexis Jinx look like, choke chain.
He's the next bad contract up, no doubt about
That's
it.
What,
because
$6-7 million for nothing?
With Mirotic coming in, Solomon Hill now makes 11, almost $12 million a year now, annually.
Right.
So, with a Mirotic coming in here with this extra optionary money, you're going to pay 2 guys $12 million off the bench. I know Mirotic might start, but you're still going to play Solomon Hill that kind of money? I doubt. No, I think Solomon Hill, we're going to, you know what, let's hold that topic. Let's go finish our rumors first. Rumors on Tyreke Evans. That's a story that came out that the Pelicans were interested in Tyreke Evans, the same guy that they signed and they traded away to Sacramento not too long ago. I think it was last year, matter of fact. They traded him away to Sacramento, and now they want him back. Now he makes $3 million a year, which is not that bad compared to the contract that he signed, a prove-it deal with the Memphis Grizzlies, which he's averaging over 18 points a game now. He's pretty good in that system.
I actually think they're trying to get rid of him because they're like, dude, what are you doing? We want to lose these games. Like, what are you doing out there playing all hard?
So what do they do? Is it real? Do you think about this rumor?
I would like.
Would you take Tyreke Evans right now?
I would like to have Tyreke Evans back, but I say no, man, because I mean, you know what this guy is, and obviously for whatever reason, you parted ways with him. Like, stick to your decision. Don't give up another asset, to get a guy back that you could have had already. I mean, you're just making you look stupider. Even if you can get him back and he could come ball out, but that's another draft pick gone that you pretty much you could have had him.
He's covered.
I'm sure he would have stayed here for $3 million.
He's currently right now he's averaging 19.5 points a game with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. So he's having an excellent year for Memphis, but bear in mind, Mike Conley's not there. Gasol is having an off year. They got a lot of young pieces. The coach was fired, so they got a backup coach there. They're in total rebuild mode. They've done what Sacramento did. They've went to a youth mode concept, and Tyreke does not fit that block. So he could help you, but it's like, what are we doing?
I don't care.
Why are you talking to Tyreke Evans?
If you can get wins and you can put up 19 points in the NBA,
I would
worth
trade
something.
I would trade Solomon Hill for Tyreke Evans.
Okay, I would too. But why would Memphis take that?
Memphis wouldn't take that.
Exactly.
Nobody would
take that.
Right.
So it's like, I would too. What you want Solomon Hill? Sold. Like, we wouldn't even have to negotiate.
Well, Evans is saying though he wants to be traded to a contender. So obviously he doesn't. I don't think the Pelicans could be considered contenders. I know the Pelicans.
He might be trying
to
sneak over there to Cleveland.
Right.
Like
That's the talk. Is Cleveland's the talk. Boston is the talk.
Very low money. And
right.
Cleveland definitely can.
They could definitely use Tyreke Evans,
a defensive point guard like Tyreke.
And the thing about Tyreke Evans is that the Cleveland Cavaliers for the last 2 years
always compare him to LeBron.
They have been asking about Tyreke Evans, but this year he has the contract, the $3 million. They actually make it work. That's enough for Tyreke. Let's move into our next topic about Solomon Hill. Yeah, pretty much about Solomon Hill by everybody. You don't talk about that. But anyway, let's move into Solomon Hill discussion. With the Mirotic trade, everybody in New Orleans are happy to see Mirotic, a guy that's coming in. He's averaging almost 17 points a game, rebounding 6.5 boards a game. Everybody high-fiving him except for Solomon Hill. Because I think this will probably be.
He knows.
This trade here this ain't a one-hitter quitter deal.
Wait, what is Solomon Hill's number?
I don't even much remember because I don't remember.
Ain't Solomon Hill number 44?
I think it's. No, I don't think it's 44. But anyway,
we both did forgot Solomon Hill's number.
His number is actually I don't know.
His number is I don't know.
Who cares? Because he doesn't freaking play.
His number is 0 points per game.
Solomon Hill makes almost 11.7, almost $12 million.
Right?
We got those numbers.
You know that.
Okay, so saying that he makes $12 million, this guy option kicks in for next year. It'll be 12.5. So that's two guys making $12 million. I mean, I don't realistically see, and not to throw the DeMarcus Cousins chip in there, because they are going to re-sign DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, no doubt.
So who loses in this deal? Do we still keep Solomon, Old Man Hill, and over Mirotic? What's your thoughts on it?
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Hell no. There's no way you can justify this. If Mirotic wants to stay, he wants to come back, I mean, we got to pay the guy.
Well, that'll be the show, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to a special Sports Coma Trade Edition as we break down the trade. Please feel free to go to our Patreon page and donate to help the show. Join our social media family at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And look out for more video reports and audio reports, podcasts, and the like from the guys from Sports Coma. From DC and myself, Big Q. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLifestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide. Offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know